when you were at Barstool and you were trying to get out of your deal, you know where I'm going with this, he suggested that a threat was made that he was going to be accused of sexual harassment.
Dave's got his version, I've got my version.
So you can't point me to the example of the guys who are the equivalent of Alex Cooper who've gotten ahead. You can point me to examples of the guys who have had their careers destroyed because of these types of plans that were hatched. There have been some, a lot of people complain about the manosphere, and they'll just sort of throw everything under, under one roof. So they'll put Andrew Wilson along with Andrew Tate, or I don't know who else. They'll toss us in with whoever. Insert whatever person is the target that day. And by the way, sometimes Joe Rogan, sometimes it's Andrew Huberman, sometimes it's like Lex Friedman, whoever it is. Thing is, a lot of these people, even those who deserve criticism, they've accomplished something. Well, now you have a lot of women making it in the podcast space. And I will agree, they have to work twice as hard and be twice as good as a man because of that glass ceiling. Also, it helps if you extort, fellate, and basically blackmail your way to the top. It's time for a Call Me Daddy.
Oh, he shoots threes on and off the court. And I'm like,
professional.
Don't love your job. Job your love.
And our bodies and our looks.
It's because of male desire.
Can you off enough? Okay, so I'm glad that people are doing well in this space. I mean, I remember when the space didn't exist, and it was considered, right, this was considered alternative media. It's not. If you look at the contracts, people like Joe Rogan, people like Alex Cooper, who will cover, you don't see those kinds of contracts in traditional media anymore. I guess Barry Weiss might be an exception, but that one also makes no financial sense. Absolutely. People who have like suspicions. Yeah.
We know why.
So Alex Cooper, good for her. Her media company Unwell just received an investment. It was valuing her company at $500 million.
Wow.
Now, we'll get to some of the ways that she's helped build it up that may not be exemplary for young women to follow, but she has, granted, had massive paydays from Barstool, Spotify, and still a thing, SiriusXM.
SiriusXM, Howard 100.
Was McDonald's fun at all, or is it just a drag?
Where the one and only Howard Stern raises the bar for entertainment.
I don't want you being made fun of. You can't go to a therapist.
Weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern, only on SiriusXM, Howard 100.
I'm sorry about that. Our board is... It's all over the map today. Does Stern take over any time we mention SiriusXM?
SiriusXM, Howard 100.
Was McDonald's fun at all, or is it just a drag?
Where the one and only Howard Stern raises the bar for entertainment.
I don't want you being made fun of. You can't go to a therapist.
Weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern, only on SiriusXM, Howard 100.
Oh my, it's enough. It's so not edgy.
Gerald sold it that way.
You sold the space?
Don't say it again. He will appear.
I won't.
Thank you.
So Alex Cooper.
Thank you.
Not Brett Cooper. We'll get to her in a second. Went on the show Squawk Box the other day, and she was asked about, well, you may not have known this, allegedly falsely accusing and or potentially extorting Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports. And she gave an answer that... well, I will say this, if nothing else, in trying to be unclear, it was pretty clear she did it.
Dave Portnoy wrote a memoir, and in his memoir, he said that when you were at Barstool and you were trying to get out of your deal, you know where I'm going with this, he suggested that a threat was made that he was going to be accused of sexual harassment. I don't think you've responded to this yet.
I have not.
And I'm so curious.
I've been pregnant, Andrew. I'm busy building a child.
I'm so curious what you thought of that, whether it was true.
I think whenever I see Dave online, we all enjoy his banter. He is a very entertaining person, and I have a very great and complicated relationship with Dave. He gave me my start in this industry, and I will never not be grateful to him. And I think when I haven't read the book, but I remember seeing, obviously, getting tagged in those things, and that's not how I remember that at all. But I also am like, Dave's got his version, I've got my version, and we're all good.
You want to tell us your version?
No. I am in my
so you're not all good.
Era. I'm no drama right now, Andrew. We're here to talk business.
This is business. This is a business. That's a business topic.
So yes, you did it. Also, you want to discuss the business of your drama program where you talk with women in salacious detail about their husbands, penile size, who they've slept with, how happy you are living as a whore, even though you actually are living a traditional life, but advocating that your viewers live as whores. So your life is, you pretty much you've capitalized on drama. Good for you, but then you don't get to take the high road and say, I just don't want to do the drama.
Well, and by the way, you can't say, haven't had time to talk about it while giving an interview. You're doing the thing. All you have to do.
They're asking you about it.
It's going to be filmed for what, 30 minutes, 15-minute hit, whatever it is. Like, just answer the question or answer another question.
What I like is, like, at least if you have a guy who's asked about it, you know, he'll get pissed.
Yeah.
He'll get pissed and tell you. Like, what was that? Was it on the Jim Rome show? Where he's like, I bet you don't call me that again. He's like, I bet you I do. And he gets up and throws the table on him. I don't remember who it was.
Rome is burning.
I think it was Jim Everett.
That's right. It was Jim Everett.
Oh,
like
Chris Everett.
It was Chris Everett. That's right.
He called him that. Yeah.
Called him Chrissy or something like that?
I think he called him his wife's name or something like that.
I don't think you're going to call me that again.
Yeah.
I bet you I do. Chrissy. And he just throws the table and he goes and grabs him. He's like, ah. So at least you know when a guy says, no, I'm not going to do it. Ooh, now a boundary has been set. She's just like, I'm not going to do it. Like, well, it's kind of entirely appropriate for an interview considering that you're a drama show. By the way, here's the other side of that story. Portnoy detailing how Cooper and a former co-host tried to extort him.
And when that was brought up, I said, well, how are you going to do that? You're under contract. We'd sue you. You know that. And she said the plan that was hatched was to allege sexual harassment, toxic workplace to get out of the contract so they could leave.
So Alex admitted that to you.
Yes.
Did she say, was it going to be against you specifically or just about just the workplace environment?
The company, toxic workplace. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
You know, at this point, Alex and I had realigned. So she was kind of coming clean with how they were going to do everything. I mean, if it ever got to that point that it went to a legal issue and they were saying these things about us, their crowd would have believed them. They didn't even really know who I was or Barstool was. So it really would have been a horrific situation to be in.
Now, just to be clear, of course, men do this too. I mean, there's a reason that in court, the least credible testimony is usually ex-lovers and ex-employees or ex-friends because they have an axe to grind. That being said, you can't point to any of the top programs out there where that's how they got it. Like Joe Rogan, or if you look at Adam Carolla, you look at any of the shows that we mentioned, they didn't get ahead by claiming a toxic work environment by being given a platform from some other guy and then Breaking Bad. You see that with a lot. That's the fast path to get ahead for a lot of women. That's not a good example for young women to follow. By the way, it's also going to make men more apprehensive in hiring women. Some other women who have run this playbook. Let's just go. I mean, Christine Blasey Ford, for crying out, E. Jean Carroll, Anita Hill, Amber Heard, Kamala Harris. It wasn't a Me Too. She just blew a mayor.
At least one.
And on the flip side, how many lives were ruined? Aziz Ansari, I don't like him at all, but guess what? He wasn't a rapist. Armie Hammer, weird, not a rapist. Johnny Depp, Kevin Spacey, weird, gay, not a rapist. Trevor Bauer, did nothing wrong. Sean Oakman, Matt Arise, like so many people who you could name. Wasn't Chris Hardwick?
Chris Hardwick got hit too?
He got hit with something. Yeah, he got hit with something, I remember. He got hit with a lot. They just had bad dates.
Jeez.
So you can't point me to the example of the guys who are the equivalent of Alex Cooper who've gotten ahead. You can point me to examples of the guys who have had their careers destroyed because of these types of plans that were hatched. Of course, it's even happened with me. It didn't work, but it happens all the time. It's the fastest way to get ahead, a shakedown.
Yeah, it makes an impact. And listen to what Dave said in there. He said, who would have believed me? Like, I didn't have the ability to really fight back. Who does when somebody alleges something like that? So it's a false claim. People just run with it. They don't care.
Right.
All those guys that we talked about being like, even though stuff has come out about Johnny Depp and Bauer, that bell can't be unrung. They're still that person forever. Until people hear. So you hear like the desperate. He's like, what the hell was I going to do?
Well, even bring us to the next example. This is not good for young women. Look at Candace Owens, right? When I disagreed with the contracts at Daily Wire, you'll see people now saying, Jew contract. Well, Jeremy Warren wasn't even Jewish. It's just a contract that said that you are losing your rights to everything. Your name, image, and likeness. This isn't something I would advocate that you sign. Certainly not for me. Candace went out and defended it. These people, their character was beyond reproach. They were unbelievable. And then when they left, it's an awful place, and there's corruption, and there's Me Too behind the scenes. And yet the same thing where someone left and threw shade, Brett Cooper, who really is the poster child who should be thankful for Daily Wire building her any platform at all. That brings us to another example. Are these good examples for women to look up to? And what I mean by that is, for all the flaws with and there are many, the male examples out there, the common thread that you see is grit. And that's where you'll get men who don't even like them. But I do respect that. Sure, you can have an actual criminal and be like, well, okay, but the fact that they have grit, the fact that they overcame some adversity is something that is respectable. The fact that they did it the hard way. We don't see as many examples of that in the female podcast space. And I really do hope that we see some better examples as someone who has a daughter than the ones we are witnessing. And that includes those on the right. So Brett Cooper, and I'm not including her with Alex Cooper, just the name happens to be the same, but released a video letting people know that she would no longer be talking politics because Dan Crenshaw said something, all sides are the same. The short end of this could be, it seems really virtuous and self-congratulatory. It could be, this has gotten really hard and or boring, and so I quit.
So I sometimes have people ask me, like, why I don't talk about politics as much anymore, or why I started to feel burned out, or whatever it is. And it's because I started to feel freaking crazy because of things like this. So this was Dan Crenshaw in 2021 under Biden. America, our food prices are too high. What are you going to do about inflation? Biden admin, just be vegan and stop complaining, you bunch of rubes. But then now, 5 years later in 2026, in light of the grocery $20 burrito affordability debate over on X right now, this is what he posts. Same guy. He says, just hearing about this dumb $20 burrito debate, so I thought I'd just make the losers on social media angry before going to bed. Stop whining and get a job. Eat ramen like the rest of us did in college on a budget with 4 roommates. The market doesn't care what you think something should cost. Only communists care. They set prices, remember? Then everyone starves, remember? Are you a communist or are you an American adult male capable of handling his own shit? You know what, Dan? This sounds a lot like just be vegan and shut up. Just eat ramen and shut up. Eat your slop bowl and shut up. I mean, it is so, like, it genuinely makes you feel like you are going crazy. Both sides are hypocritical. Both sides just chase political brownie points. Both sides are printing money like there is no tomorrow. I don't even know if there's any way that America will ever come back from that. So I'm just done.
You're done. You quit. So she went on to write this post when the two-party theater is losing its grip on people who can no longer pretend the sides are meaningfully different. Couple of points here. By the way, it is exhausting. And it is easy to get burnt out. I don't know why you picked Dan Crenshaw, though. Yeah. So let me say this, because Dan Crenshaw was on this show when he was still being praised and he was being, I don't want groomed, but actually groomed for a next national candidate. And I asked him about red flag laws, TAPS Act. Call him to task. He's never been on the show since because I didn't like the answer. So back then, he lost his primary because he's a horrible politician. Republicans rejected him, or you could view him as a turncoat. Certainly many of his former voters did. So who cares what he says? That's picking a soft target. You could do the same thing with someone who you said you'll never speak a bad word about, Candace. Much more significant flip-flops, going to Israel, taking these trips, and then switching. Daily Wire is the best, along with you saying that, and then actually it's the worst and it's corrupt, right? So you pick a soft target who's completely irrelevant. Sure, by the way, printing money, I'll grant that to you. Both sides try and score political points. Understood. It's very surface, it's very shallow. That's pretty much what Brett does. Let's be honest. She was an unknown actress before Daily Wire. There was no meaningful pre-existing audience whatsoever, if not for Daily Wire building her channel. And I get it. I hate that someone would build your channel and then own everything. It's a little bit different if you're coming in with a platform. Brett Cooper didn't have experience. So maybe the only behavior that she sees, the point scoring, and that does exist, as opposed to seeing true conservatives, people who've been here for a very long time, for several decades, the only behavior that you see is that of which you're capable, which is clout chasing and clickbait and point scoring. Sure, both sides do it. Both sides are hypocritical. I've said this, every single human being on earth is hypocritical if you have any type of a standard. You know who are the worst hypocrites? Christians, because we actually have standards. It's not an argument, to be clear. And it doesn't mean that people don't understand that something can be wrong. So what, you're going to quit now? Well, how does that make America better? On to Hollywood gossip? Hey, here's my takeaway from this. And by the way, I do wish Brett Cooper the best if she quits. There are times that I feel that way, absolutely. I'm not going to lie. When I see all of the momentum that has been wiped off the board because people would rather engage in baseless conspiracies, not that all conspiracies are baseless, but new baseless conspiracies, and infight, and then claim that both parties are the same, which I just don't agree with. Certainly not both. Let's take away parties. Let's talk about the platform. Let's talk about the ideologies. I don't believe that strong borders, a national language, a strong family unit, strong duty along with freedom, the two married together, I don't believe that's the same as all the free shit you want because burritos are expensive. I don't. And open borders. I don't believe they're the same thing. And I'm not talking about who has an R next to their name. So I've been here since 2008 on record, and I'll still be here fighting. And I'd like to see people have that grit. You can quit. Don't try and sell it as a virtue. Here's my lesson. And I hope she goes on and has a great time doing the Hollywood, whatever, more tabloid stuff, more other creative stuff that, is afforded to her through a platform of largely speaking conservative talking points, which is how people are familiar with her. Maybe conservatives, because a lot of people do relate to what she's saying. Mm-hmm. I do too. So, hey, conservatives, right wing, MAGA, America First, maybe you'd be better off. We've gone through this with Nala Ray. You went through this with Candace Owens. You've gone through this with countless examples. Maybe you'd be better off if you stopped elevating unknown, largely uninformed, and unwilling to fight ambassadors just because they check a token box. Maybe a standard white guy ain't all that bad, or an old guy, or a nerd. Maybe you don't need to put someone up who's a complete unknown because, well, they had an OnlyFans, so they have a platform, or they're a woman, they're black, they're gay, they're Hispanic, they're gay, Hispanic, trans, whatever it is. Maybe it's bitten you in the ass every time. Also, can we just acknowledge something for a second? Yes, they have underdelivered on the economy, President Trump, this administration. But not to the degree that people are saying if you look at core CPI. Can we acknowledge there's a huge difference between milk, beef, eggs, and a DoorDashed burrito? Yes, we should strive to improve all of it and hear the complaints of your constituencies, but they're not the same conversation.
We just saw a report this morning saying that that Chipotle in particular, talk about the burrito debate, that they outpaced inflation by what? What was it, Gerald? Like 25%?
I think it was like 25 or 26%. It's still like a $12 to $14 burrito, depending on the protein that you put on it.
Yeah,
and
so that's outpacing inflation.
Slop bowl either. It's got a lot of protein and nutrients for it. It's not like gruel.
Also, Chipotle has been struggling for a very long time because they tried to go to the dine in and leave chic, kind of like Panera, the same type of thing. They have no way to make money, and so it's part of this huge portfolio where it's actually okay if they end up being a loss leader or a write-off, just like the company that owns Buffalo Wild Wings and Dunkin', and they move these things around all the time. Well, we'll put Bennigan's out of business and put more money into Chili's. I'm using these as examples. So you can't just point to that. When you're talking about staples, they are not great, but not as catastrophic. And who gives a shit what Dan Crenshaw says? I just wonder why the standard isn't applied to people who were all the way on one side pro-Israel, all the way on one side Trump, and then all the way on the other black pill. Why pick Dan Crenshaw as the justification for quitting, for abandoning your post? I don't want my daughter to see abandoning her post as virtuous. And certainly not when you're just getting started. A couple of years. So Alex Cooper, Brett Cooper, just to be clear, I wouldn't want to hang with either of these Coopers. I'd rather be hanging with Mr. Cooper, which, yeah, look at, hey, that looks fun.
Why am I holding the kid?
Yeah, that's
Why not? Is that a kid? I couldn't see. I just saw the teeth.
I guess that's my pal. I'm doing the Big Brothers Club.
He's literally hanging Mr. Cooper there.
Yes, exactly. Putting him in the sleeper. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, you can click around and watch one of these videos on YouTube, or head on over to Rumble and subscribe, where I am live every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Live on Rumble. YouTube is dead. Rumble did it. And on Rumble, you can say